empire is murder, suicide. It's the worst thing. It's the only way to destroy America is to turn it into an overextended empire, exactly as the insiders have done.
Hi everyone, this is Veronica Kirilenko of the New American Magazine. We're in Washington, D.C. attending the Rage Against the War Machine. And here with us today we have Mr. Scott Horton, an anti-war activist, best-selling author, and you're with the antiwar.com, or is it?
That's right, and thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of the New American. I've been reading it since the 1990s, and the great William Norman Grigg was a mentor of mine and a good friend and co-founder of my institute. So I'm a big fan of the Birchers. I've never been a member, but I love you guys, and happy to be here with you.
This is a high time you join. I'm really excited that you are aware of what we do. Sir, please tell us what brought you here today.
Well, you know, partly due to the influence of the John Birch Society, I've been very interested in foreign policy and since the 1990s, and particularly the, I believe, correct narrative that empire is murder, suicide. It's the worst thing. It's the only way to destroy America is to turn it into an overextended empire, exactly as the insiders have done. And now look at us. They are threatening now a completely unnecessary major power war with Russia, a country that has the ability to wipe our entire civilization off the face of the earth in an afternoon, and for no good reason whatsoever.
How do we stop it from happening?
Well, I'm a Ron Paul guy at heart, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to education. And when the American people are of the consensus that we don't want it like this anymore, we will not stand for it anymore, then we'll get the government we deserve.
Well, I agree, but it's more of a strategic goal. What do we do right now, today, with Ukraine and Russia fighting? Just regular Ukrainians dying as we speak. What do we do to bring peace to the country?
Well, my speech today is going to be about how we all need to demand a ceasefire and negotiations right now. That should be the highest priority of all Americans and, in fact, all earthlings. We must have a ceasefire in Ukraine and real negotiations and peace.
Well, I agree with you, but it looks like neither of the sides is willing to budge. Zelensky is demanding that the whole Russian troops just vacate the territory, including from Crimea. And then we see Putin saying that we will never do such a thing. How do you make it work between two of those?
Well, it would have been a lot better if they just implemented the Minsk II deal and avoided this war. And of course, ever since last September and October, the Russians annexed 4, not just 2, but 4 eastern provinces of Ukraine. But I think that there is your reasonable basis for negotiation there. The Russians get to keep Donetsk and Luhansk, but they give up Zaporozhye and Kherson. There's a compromise that should be available right now. And frankly, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff agrees with me. Mark Milley said last November when the Ukrainians took Kherson City that, okay, now talk. You're behind, but you should quit while you're only so far behind and not further. And that was the correct advice.
Sir, one of the demands of the rally organizers is to slash Pentagon budgets. Please elaborate.
Well, look, we could defend this country with a couple of good submarines, as the great Ron Paul told the Washington Post back in 2008. The reason we spend $1 trillion a year is on world empire, but America was never supposed to be an empire in the first place. And certainly with the fall of the Soviet Union 30 years ago, we should have dismantled NATO and brought all of our forces home, as Ron Paul, Pat Buchanan, and the members of the John Birch Society said back in 1990.
Yes, and how do you think the war impacts Americans at home right now?
Well, they're risking all of our hometowns being obliterated off the face of the earth. I mean, short of that, they're blowing our money. That should be going to repairing our train tracks, feeding hungry people and putting roofs over the heads of the homeless who've been made homeless by our central banking system, which its primary purpose is to be able to fund the empire with paper money, abolish the empire, reinstitute hard money and free market capitalism in America and save this country from our government. That's our priority.
Wonderful. Please tell us what's the best ways to follow you and your work.
Well, I got a lot of jobs, but the most important one for today is antiwar.com. That's the most important project on the internet.
Sir, let's close with the message of hope to Americans and the people on Earth.
Well, I think I'll tell you this. I don't know if I'll have time for this in my speech, so I'll say it to you.
Okay.
There's a Rand Corporation study from 2019 called Extending Russia, which is about how to provoke Russia into more expensive obligations, including in Ukraine. But what's notable about it, one of the things that's notable about that study, is that they refer over and over again to public opinion in the United States and in Europe. Well, we'd like to do this, but public opinion in Germany is totally against it. Well, we'd like to do that, but public opinion in America forbids it. And so I think it's surprising to see, and it's a hopeful sign to see, that they know that we, the people of this country, have the power, and that what we think and what we say does matter. If we will get our act together and force our will on them, they have to stop.
Thank you so much, Mr. Horton. I appreciate it.
Thank you.